I want to thank everyone for joining us on True Heart Makes Media with Longitude Ambassador Joel Trueheart II on 1300 AM WIMG. Music for the Soul, 5-time star-awarding gospel station. We thank God for the opportunity for WIMG to sponsor. Of course, Trenton Talks Radio, sponsored weekly by WIMG 1300 AM on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Also catches on Facebook on my professional profile on Thursdays at 7 p.m. We always have exciting guests from our community who are doing great work, whether academic achievement, business achievement, community achievement, in all aspects of putting boots on the ground where the rubber meets the road. And so we thank God for this opportunity to have our guest this afternoon. A special treat for me, Albert C. Matlock III, my nephew, right here out of the capital city of Trenton, New Jersey. Oh my God. I mean, this brother is an awesome man of God. Has been known his family for over 30 plus years. And we've been coming together, whether it be in ministry, whether it be in academics, whether it be in business. He is an entrepreneur. He's done great work, not only here in the capital city, but his educational background. You will hear more about what Albert C. Matlock III has been doing in our community over the last 30 plus years of his life and the great work that he is doing, and some about his family background as well. So I want to bring him on right now. Albert C. Matlock III. God bless you, my brother. Good to see you this afternoon. Good to see you. Always happy to have you on board with us this afternoon. I mean, we've known each other for over almost your entire life. I mean, so far. And so your journey, tell us about your journey and how you got to this point. Tell us about your journey.
Sure. Thanks. I just want to first say thank you for the opportunity to speak to your audience and to speak to you through this medium. This is amazing platform. So I'm grateful for this. But a little bit about, I guess, my upbringing and where I'm from. So I'm from Trenton, New Jersey, pretty much born and raised. I've had some really amazing opportunities to kind of like use my, whether it be my faith, whether it be my business mindset, whether it be academics, to kind of see the world, to travel to different places. But it's all started from, I guess, my aspirations and my motivation coming from Trenton, New Jersey, from West Trenton, born and raised. My family's from there. I'm third generation. So it's something that's been rooted in me to always kind of, the Trenton makes, the world takes, to kind of go and see the world, but never forget where you come from. And I think that definitely sums up how I look at, life, how I look at my growth and where I'm going. But at the end of the day, Trenton has definitely raised me and has kind of motivated me to do to go where I am today. But according to my upbringing, I went to Joyce Kilmer for school. I got opportunities to go to schools in Pennsylvania, but also got a chance to go to TCNJ, which is right in our neck with TC College in New Jersey. And that really opened up my doors in terms of opportunities and how I saw the world of business. I studied business in undergrad there. I played basketball there for the school as well. And pretty much right out of school, I got an opportunity to work with an amazing nonprofit called the Bonner Organization, based out of Princeton, New Jersey, that allowed me to give back to my community through, whether it was doing service projects, whether it was leading academic enrichment for the school from TCNJ. I really got a chance to see how I could affect the community from a grassroots standpoint. And that then motivated me to also do some things outside of that. But I want to leave some room for you to ask me some questions, so I make sure I stay within the guidelines here.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're actually doing excellent. Love it, man. So you talked about your experience growing up at Joyce Kilmer School. I happen to be vice president of Trenton Board of Ed, so I'm very thankful that our educational system has afforded you with the opportunities to move not only from Joyce Kilmer to other great schools, Pennsylvania, and being Solebury, out in Pennsylvania, and then from Solebury to TCNJ College in New Jersey. Being in the Bonner program and playing basketball and having a great academic career, but also a great athletic career. You were also a star basketball player at TCNJ, as I hear, and witnessed myself. And so I thank God for that. And then going from TC&J. This kind of pinpoint that journey from TC&J,
Definitely.
from Joyce Kilmer to Soulberry to TC&J, and then the next level, which is going into your master's programs
Yep. Yep.
that TC&J and your other educational academic background prepared you for, but also in the context of your background in faith and ministry with your dad, your mom, Elder Matlock,
Definitely.
and your mother, Elder Matlock, Michelle Matlock, and Albert Matlock, your dad, and the ministry, and how faith has grounded you and rooted you to move you to the next level in terms of not only your academic but your business.
Oh, without a doubt. I think I definitely want to give credit to my parents for the motivation and for also helping me see the vision for my future, even when I didn't really see it, and praying for me, believing in me, reassuring me that I was going to new heights, and to always kind of think about education as an opportunity to open up more doors for yourself, but also for other people. And that was one of the things that I think that stood out at my experience at TC&J. Not only was it, I was an athlete, not only was I, pretty good student, but I also participated in the Bonner program, which forced me or opened up doors and afforded me opportunities to give back directly to my community through, Greg Grant's Academic Academy, which allows students from TC&J to come back and tutor kids from Trenton High. That's really where I got to kind of see the grassroots work come to life. So pretty much I did that after school, but I also worked part-time. I've always been a pretty hard worker. So I worked part-time at a J. Crew in Princeton, New Jersey, and that opened up my eyes to corporate retail. I started to see how the supply chain was working, how logistics worked, how the product would get to the stores. And my second job out of college was working for Burlington Stores in New Jersey, which allowed me to go to New York, which allowed me to work with merchants and vendors all throughout the world, and really opened my eyes to a different side of business, where I was working in procurement, pretty much buying product for 500 plus stores at that time. And I was buying men's clothing. And then I did that for a couple of years, where I was buying pretty much wovens, sweaters, polos, all that good stuff. But then I got an amazing opportunity to kind of tap into another market, another industry, which was housing, which was home decor. So I pretty much bought planters, pretty much everything that you put into your living room that didn't go on a wall in a socket, I bought. So candle holders, planters, decorative serve trays, vases, pretty much all that kind of stuff that you see in like a home goods I was purchasing for a department store. And I think during that time, I got so much access to architecture, interior design. I got to see the world of being a merchant and what that encompassed, right? But in addition to that, I've always had a burning desire you alluded to it early about giving back to my community. So in the midst of that, outside of my 9 to 5, I would always go back and I would work with the city of Trenton, New Jersey, to put together mobile market fairs. And we called this organization the 609 Project. That was probably my most passionate project I've ever worked on. And that really inspired me to do what I'm doing now, right? So pretty much what we were doing, we were taking abandoned and blighted buildings in the downtown Trenton, New Jersey area, and we were converting them and activating them into mobile market fairs. So think of a flea market mixed with a art gallery, mixed with I would say a night market. So individuals would come to this gallery. It would have, whether it be different painters, photographers, artists, integrated with merchants. So you'll have vendors that were maybe selling, natural soaps, or they might be selling different products. And we created an environment, taking old warehouses, taking old buildings that were being underutilized in the downtown Trenton area. And that really started to help me see how I could use commerce, how I could use business, all in a way to still give back to my community, providing spaces, providing, employment, e-commerce, providing commerce to the downtown Trenton area, and generating traffic for an area that was definitely missing that community aspect. So I think that also was something that inspired me to kind of learn a little bit more about placemaking, city planning, grants. I learned about how to raise capital for these type of projects and how these things open up doors for small businesses. And in that process, I ended up meeting a really, really amazing person that worked for the Downtown Association of Trenton. And I remember them telling me, say, Albert, you have some amazing skills, right? You're really good with the community. You understand business, but you also care about making a difference, right? And one of the things that they suggested that I look into was development. And at that point in time, I had no clue what that was. She was just like, take some time, do some research, find out what a developer does, and I think you'll be really good at it. So I went down this rabbit hole of researching what a developer does, a real estate developer, and how they can utilize their spaces to pretty much do what I was doing, but at scale. And I used that to kind of motivate me. And I ended up finding an amazing program, expedited program, a 1-year program in New York City at Pratt Institute that allowed me to learn from the ground up what a real estate developer and what the real estate industry encompasses. So I did that for a year, moved to New York City, moved to Harlem, and I started working for a developer in Harlem called Carthage Advisors. And that's when my world just kind of opened up. I got to see senior housing being built right on 125th, right in the heart of Harlem. And I just loved being around that community, being around like-minded people who are Black, who are doing amazing things that really inspired me to say, hey, I think I can do this, even if it's, at a smaller scale initially, but I think I could grow it and be able to give this back to my hometown, which is Trenton, New Jersey. And has always been my North Star, of finding ways that I can learn, whether it be from my travels, and bring that back home. So I did that for about a year, right? And that opened up the door for me to then get an opportunity working at Goldman Sachs in corporate real estate services there. And I did that for some time. And then I got the opportunity of a lifetime where I got to work for the state of New York. And I worked as a multifamily finance underwriter, where I pretty much worked with developers and private banks, as well as the municipality and agencies, to fund and finance affordable housing all throughout the state, whether that be upstate, downstate. And they were doing new construction, adaptive reuse projects, as well as some preservation projects as well. So that's when the world of affordable housing and giving back to my community and at the highest level really opened my eyes.
Wow, man. That's amazing. And we need you here in the city of Trenton.
I'm coming.
Doing some great work with your background and your experience, multifaceted experience, not just the fact that you have the experience in retail, and how that couples with the 609 project, right? The 609 project led you to the Downtown Association, what led you to other opportunities. I know Berlin Coat Factory was prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
But those experiences, those foundational experiences that you had, that you built upon your academics in elementary, middle, or high school, and then going off to college.
Mm-hmm.
Then your opportunity with working with the state of New York and affordable housing, it seemed like the light bulbs were going off each and every step that you took. There was an opportunity to communicate with somebody that gave you opportunity to then connect with others, to build your repertoire and your interests and how you developed yourself, to not only in terms of your academic achievement, but your achievement in the world of work, whether it be as an entrepreneur or whether it be as an employee working with an organization that you felt good about, which was here at the state of New York Affordable Housing. You also mentioned about your opportunity to talk about your opportunities with Cornell.
Yeah, for sure. So
How that led you to Cornell.
So when I was in undergrad, I remember participating in a business plan competition. I think you attended that, if I remember correctly.
Right.
It was a business plan competition that I think my junior and my senior year, where we basically put together a plan, a report, and we presented it, and we were finalists in this report. And I remember at the end of that, I had a conversation with the dean, and he told me about higher education and kind of motivated me and introduced me to an MBA, a master's in business administration. And at that time, I didn't really know if that was going to be my next step, but it was always in the back of my head of like how, I do desire to have this. I don't know too many people where I'm from that had an MBA, but it was something that stuck with me ever since then. So even when I did the opportunity at Pratt to learn real estate, it was still in the back of my head. Hey, if you ever were to pursue your MBA, this is the time to do it. You should do it. And I remember just going through a point in time, and I was just looking around, talking to one of my best friends that actually participated in that competition, and he ended up getting his MBA, and that was very inspiring. So that's why I think it's really important to be surrounded by the right people, be people that are going to motivate you and constantly help you see who you are and where you're going. And I always say that that definitely helped inspire me and sparked me to continue going down this route. So I pursued, I put the application in. I knew I wanted to be in, not too far from home. I was looking at a couple schools, and I thought, Cornell had a really, really good brand, good recognition, had a program that was, I would say was very complementary to my skill set and the things that I cared about. I obviously wanted to continue to get stronger in finance. I want to get stronger in real estate, want to get stronger in entrepreneurship. And they had programs and classes and coursework that just aligned directly with that. So the school made a lot of sense for me. And it wasn't that far from my family, and probably about 4 hours upstate New York. So I looked at that. I thought if I were to do an MBA, I wanted to be in an environment that was very, I would say, insulated. Upstate New York is very far away from LA, very far away from New York, places that I lived in before. And I thought, look, if I could have an experience to have a very, very cerebral, low key, MBA experience, this would be the perfect place to do so. So I moved to the boonies in upstate in Ithaca, and I've been here for the last 2 years, and that has opened up the doors that I could say no man can shut. When you think about God's blessing and His favor and what He's been able to do in my life over the last couple of years, I can't even begin to sometimes explain it. It gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. But through this program, it was very intense for those 2 years. But I got an opportunity to intern this past summer at JP Morgan in New York City. I worked in strategy, and I got an experience to do some hands-on work, and that ended up leading to a full-time role with them, where I will be going back and start working a couple months, and I'll be going back to New York City to work for JP Morgan in corporate real estate strategy. And I think that that's going to allow me to see, the world of real estate from, a global standpoint. So I got to see it from a state and local standpoint. And now I think I'm going to be able to just see not only real estate, but business and commerce. Like, it's one of the biggest banks in the world. So the ability to be able to see where this takes me and the opportunities that this will afford me, I'm just grateful. I'm extremely grateful. And I guess that leads to another thing. So being in this environment and being surrounded by so many like-minded and motivated people, you get opportunities that you can't even believe, right? So I remember I got nominated not too long ago, probably 2 months ago, for Poets and Quants, which is a big platform for MBAs in the States, a domestic platform related to helping people know and navigate the process to becoming an MBA and getting your MBA. And I recently got nominated and was awarded the best and brightest for 2024, which was really cool. You should definitely share that link with people so they can
Congratulations.
have access. But
Yeah.
I can't even begin to explain how proud of, when I think back where I come from and the opportunities that led me here and how blessed I've been. I can't begin to thank God for the opportunities and thank for the people that assisted me, whether it be my family, whether it be close families and friends that have all played I would say, an integral role in me getting to where I am today. So I guess that is a high level overview of the things that I've done and what motivates me up until this point.
That's phenomenal work, man. I'm looking for that information on the poet that you sent. I know my wife sent your I did find it. I did find it. I got to figure out poets. You know what? I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna ask you the next question.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna locate that link to share that link on our broadcast today. Talk about your internship. Not necessarily your internship. Talk about the work you traveled abroad, over in Europe, and the time you spent in Europe.
Yeah.
I know you were over there doing great work. You had a couple friends come over from your soul bearing and your childhood come over. Gerald, my son, the third, come over, and others come over to see you and have had a great time over there in Switzerland, London, and Amsterdam, and so forth. But you were over there doing some work. Just share some thoughts about some of your experience over in London, the work that you did in London.
So oftentimes through your MBA experience, there are opportunities that are afforded to you to do travel. And one of them was to do a study abroad. I never did study abroad in undergrad because I was, too busy either playing basketball or participating with the Bonner program, Bonner Foundation. But for the opportunity to do it through my MBA, I couldn't pass up the opportunity. So I got a chance to study at London School of Economics, which is one of the top institutes in London when you think about it. When it comes to economics, when it comes to politics. This is one of the best schools. So this to go through Cornell and to be able to leverage that experience, to be able to go over there, I think that was an eye-opening experience. So I studied for about 4 months in London. I lived in South London, lived in Brixton area, which is, come to find out, happens to be a very cultural hub for a lot of African American people, Jamaican people, Caribbean people that lived there. That really was a great environment for me. I got to have some incredible food, different cuisines. The nightlife was incredible. So being able to actually capture some of the culture that was there and speak to the locals throughout that process, some of the music festivals that I got to experience, I think really added to my experience outside of the academic. So while I was there, I studied entrepreneurial finance, so understanding how venture capital firms are structured. I studied, um, leadership and change management. So oftentimes when people come into roles, how do you manage expectations? How do you lead a group of people that are from, international backgrounds, different, skill sets, different personalities? We also got to learn about negotiations. How do you look at problem solving? How do you look at meeting people in the middle, or not even just meeting them in the middle, but making sure that they get the most out of negotiation just as much as you get the most out of it, right? So meeting and creating common ground, and then also got to learn about security analysis and valuations. So I'm sure you guys, I mean, you definitely know how much I care about the capital markets, and also stocks and bonds, and understanding how those things work in our world. And I got a chance to really learn the ins and outs of valuations and how companies are being valued on the stock market and the open market. So that was another class that I got to take there as well. But in addition, outside of the academic component, we also got to do some incredible social things. So like you said, the last month that I was there, I had some of my friends come out, my family and my friends, and we traveled from London to Amsterdam to Switzerland, where we went from Zurich to the countryside. And then we also got a chance to go to Italy, and we did, Cuomo, we did Bellagio, we did Venice, we did, pretty much everything that you could imagine. And then last, we spent some time in Paris. So I think and I'm not saying any of this to brag, but it's just the opportunities and the access to see the world, and it just adds to your inspiration. It adds to your motivation. It helps you see how you could provide more opportunities for other people to see the world as well. And it also keeps you humble to realize that the world is much bigger than where you are. And I think that's what I got out of it. Obviously, we got to eat some great food as well, and meet some amazing people. But at the end of the day, I think it just helps me stay rooted, and it makes me appreciate where I come from even more. So even though I enjoyed my time abroad and being able to study, I came back home more motivated. I came back home being able to see how the things that I experienced could be implemented in a city or in a community like the one I'm from.
Amen. Amen. Man, that's the type of work we're looking for, man. You're coming back to the city of Trenton. I want folks to recognize and to hear that, because it's so very important. Many of us, or some of us, sometimes leave our communities and don't come back, but we need you right back here in the capital city doing great work. And here I have your award, 2024 Best and Brightest MBA, Albert C. Matlock III, Cornell University. Here it is. I mean, just great work, Albert, man. And you've been doing great work for many years now. And this is a testimony to the great work that you've been doing. Best and Brightest MBA class of 2024 poets and quants. Is that how you pronounce that?
Poets and quants. Yeah,
Poets
exactly.
and quants. Samuel Curtis Johnson Graduate School of Management, Cornell. Samuel Curtis Johnson College of Business, Cornell University. Got your MBA. Coming back to the city of Trenton and doing great work. Actually, you're also starting a company that you just founded here in the capital city. So you're building up a company, and you've been in entrepreneurship all your life, and whether it be winning a competition, whether it be doing the 619 project in the capital city, right downtown Trenton with a storefront, where it's very community and very active. I was so happy to be a part of that with all of your partners and friends and colleagues at that time. And then going to the College of New Jersey, going from there, going to the Pratt Institute, getting a master's a master's degree or a master's of real estate practice, and then going from there to Cornell, SC Johnson College of Business, Master's of Business Administration, and you went straight through. You didn't stop for a moment. You just continue your career, you continue academics, and now you're on your way to J.P. Morgan in New York, doing a internship with them, and then leading that internship leading you to working for J.P. Morgan in New York. I mean, what a great trajectory and great work. That was built upon not by luck, not by chance, but by you working and believing in yourself and believing in in the work that you were doing, and having focus and having a plan of action to move forward.
But I think it also I think it's also a testament to the people that I had around me. I think
Yeah.
in everything that I'm saying, how I connect the dots are often from the support that you have around you, individuals that see something in you that can help you see the vision a lot clearer. Those are the things I think that really kind of help guide you, right? Because you don't have all the answers at that point in time, but individuals that may have more experience, that may have more life, lived life, and I would say more I guess just say more life, right? They, whether that's things that they actualize and they've been able to see. And the more exposure you have, I think the more clear your vision becomes, right? So I think I've been able to have the right people in my corner. And that also played a large part in the success that I had up until this point. And I don't think that has stopped, right? Like when I think about, where I'm at, and even here at the university, we got a chance to, in an interview, you'll get a chance to read it. But there's professors that left a lasting impression on me still to this day. That wrote a beautiful recommendation for me that will probably be a part of my life, moving forward. As you and the beauty in life, right, and meeting people along the way, is that you build genuine connection with them, genuine relationships with them, where not only are you invested in their lives and their passion and what they care about, but they're invested in who you are, who you desire to become, right? And the minute you share things with people, whether that be, hey, I think I want to open up this business, then the doors, it seems like the floodgates and the universe and God kind of like begins to help facilitate that vision, right? And you might not know exactly how to get there, but he'll start to put crumbs of like or not even crumbs, but he'll begin to light the path for you, so you can be able to say, maybe this experience has led me to this, has allowed me to meet this person, that has now introduced me to this person. And then it becomes, I would say, you begin to stitch everything together to be able to get closer to, what you ultimately want to do. And I think that's something that I've definitely been able to do, is just navigating each and every experience and connecting those dots. Because one experience, you could look, you're like, how did the retail thing have anything to do with what you're doing now, right? But it's like, no, if I didn't do the retail thing,
Right.
I wouldn't have created the 609 project with my partner, who was an artist, and we created a space that incorporated a retail concept. Like, it was a merchandising. There was, we had to buy products, we had to resell the products. So that procurement concept and that mindset was able to be applied to this, out of side, this side project, passion project, that then led me to understand a little bit more about placemaking, city planning, community building. Um, uh, and that door then led me to a bigger opportunity, which was real estate. So it's like, you never should take any experience for granted. And if anything you learn from this conversation, from what I'm saying, is that if you allow your passion, like, pursue your passions and go at them full throttle, and allow God and life and other people to help you stitch together the meaning of it. At that point in time, you don't need to know the meaning. Just do it. Do it with full fledged, do it with passion. And don't try to have all the answers at that point in time. Because as you work, it seems the meaning and hindsight becomes a lot clearer as you work. Put it like that. Put the work in, and then try to synthesize it and help it make sense as you put the work in.
I mean, you mentioned we had this conversation when you mentioned about people along the way that helped you to shape and to motivate and to give you encouragement along the way. And now how you take that same philosophy and you bring that back to the capital city, where you want to be able to share with young people, high school kids maybe in a county college program, or even in a 4-year college degree program, how important it is to get and track their way to their MBA. And so I think as you begin, or as you continue, right, to give back and to help other young people shape their track or shape their trajectory to an MBA and the importance of an MBA, man, you're going to have a whole lot more students and a whole lot more entrepreneurs and a whole lot more folks who are doing great work, because you set the example, you set the bar, you set the example, you're leading by example. And I think that's a testimony to your work, to work with the people that you have been surrounded with, that you're surrounded with now, that you continue to be surrounded by. But then as you give back, and I always say my philosophy is have a positive, life-changing impact, influence on your life and on the life of others. And so I see that philosophy, I see that purpose in your life as well. So that's awesome work.
I think that's something that I learned from my parents for sure. One, my parents pretty much, I grew up in the church and ministry. I saw my parents contribute and give back faithfully, not expecting anything in return, giving and serving unconditionally to the church, to the community. And I think that that's something that's always been rooted in me. Education's always been rooted in me. My mom would have me and my brother in summer programs at Rider University, kind of like learning, whether it be entrepreneurship. I remember when I was young, it was a program based out of Trenton, New Jersey, that I would like to shout out. Minding Your Own Business. It's called MOB. That was a program that I was a part of that was held at Rider University, if I remember correctly. And they would teach us the basics of entrepreneurship, how to source a product, how to market a product, how to sell a product, how to price a product. And these experiences, you don't forget them as a kid, right? Like you go through those experiences, those things stick with you. They're ingrained in you. They become a part of your character, a part of I guess your basis as a person. And I think that is credited to my parents. My mom has always run a daycare out of, pretty much all my life out of the house. And she's always been entrepreneurial minded. And I think that coupled with my faith and my ability to kind of stay motivated, even when things don't look so rosy or so clear, but to be able to stay strong headed. One of the things that my dad has always taught me is to remain even keeled, right? Like, don't get too high, don't get too low,
Right.
Even in the midst of incredible blessings that come your way, and they will continue to come your way. But what God helps you really see is that he never hides that there will be tides, right? There will be waves, ebbs and flows of life. But you want to make sure that you are able to stay strong-willed and strong-headed during those times. So I think that that's another thing that I learned from my mom, the entrepreneurial spirit, as well as the faith from both of my parents that has stuck with me and has allowed me to stay rooted throughout all of these experiences and not get too high and not get too low.
Amen. Amen. A humble servant of God, with a strong foundation in faith, in word, in deed, and giving back, man. That's phenomenal. And working with in ministry with your mom and dad, with your father as pastor over at New Horizon Baptist Church, your mother's first lady over there. And I'm ministering over there with under the leadership of your father. And what a great opportunity that is, not only for me, but for my wife, for my family, and for us as a family to come together in ministry. For the last 30 years, we've been in ministry together, and that laying that foundation is so very, very important. And continuing to fight the good fight of faith and walk by faith and not by sight. And we see that in you as a young man that is going to even higher heights. But not only that, but being able, not only going to higher heights, but then reaching back, right? Sankofa principle, reaching back, looking back and pulling forward others to come along with you. I think that's a testimony one of the great things, one of the benefits I see to your community from you that you've been giving back. I mean, whether it be from the 619 Project, whether it be from the Minding Our Business program, whatever program you were involved in, whether it be your communication and conversation with the Downtown Association, whether it was over at Soulberry School and your contributions to Soulberry, and you continue to contribute to Soulberry. I mean, all aspect of the things that you've been involved in, you've been laying the foundation for others.
Yeah, there's a really good book that I would recommend people read. It's called The Go Giver, and it kind of talks about how the most successful individuals are individuals and people that give the most. So when you think of I don't know, if you think of a billionaire, right? Like, they're compensated based on the amount of people that they help, the amount of people that they serve, and that's how I also try to look at success, right? Like the success can't just solely be on you. Like you have to find ways to share the information. That's why I'm glad that you even provided this platform, right? Because it allows me to then hopefully motivate another individual by sharing this information, sharing my exposure and what I've been able to see. And maybe that sparks something in an individual. Maybe it's not business. Maybe it might be law for another person. Maybe it might be medical, some type of medical practice for another person. Or maybe it might be, to start a restaurant or a local business in Trenton. But oftentimes the conversations that you have with individuals that are willing to give without conditions does open up your mind. So it was a book called The Go Giver, and it talks about how successful people. It was one guy that he wanted to be so successful, but he was just taking, and he never really experienced the success he wanted until he learned from a guy that was an incredible salesman. And he was like, the more I serve people, the more I give them what they're looking for and provide them the desires of their heart. That's when I start to see the most success. And when I think of CEOs, when I think of individuals that are compensated and do really well in life, I think it's a reflection of the amount of people, like the jobs that they provide for people, the services that they provide from people, whether they be making someone's life a lot easier or allowing them to do more things in their day. These are people are rewarded based on the amount of people they serve and help.
Critically important. And when you mentioned about a billionaire, I thought about Warren Buffett
Yeah, think
with a
about it.
B, billion, right?
Think about it. When
Yes.
you think of the amount of people that he employs, the amount of people that they come to Omaha, and he does a big conference every year where he basically shares, their insights about the market and what they think, where the market is going. But they're giving free game to people in that process, right? People come from all over the world to be able to basically hear, you know, Warren Buffett. Now Charlie Munger has passed away, but his partner that he would always be with, they would just sit up there and share insights about their experiences, about their I guess their highs and their lows throughout their career, and what makes them more decisive in their decisions as investors. And I think that I mean, obviously they get compensated in different ways. That's why they're billionaires, but they also do that, sharing that information freely, letting people know that they have the ability to do it as well.
Yeah. When you talked about giving and the book that you mentioned, it just rang a scripture to me, Luke 6:38 through actually Luke 6:38. It says, "Give and it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down and shaken together and running over,
Hmm.
shall men give into your bosom. With the same measure that you met withal, it shall be measured to
Wow.
you again." We learned that scripture
Oh,
at New Life, right? I mean, when we were growing up together.
yeah.
Actually, when you were growing up with Gene and me and your dad and your mom, as we grew, of course, in ministry, that scripture is so apropos now as you look back and remember. Wow, yeah, that's right. Given it shall be given unto you.
Definitely.
Yes,
Definitely. I
yes.
think another thing that I want to add that has a similar principle of or Jason principle is and I think you spoke it, but speaking those things that be not as though they were. I remember at one point
Mm.
in time when I didn't have my MBA, but it was a part of my prayer. Every single day I would pray about my MBA, and I would say that I would be going to an Ivy League MBA. Sorry, I'm trying to fix my tie, but
You good?
I would pray that that I would get Ivy League MBA, that I would go on scholarship, and that the doors would open up for me. That was a part of my daily prayer. I would pray that that God will help me see how I can give back to my community. How I can be the head and not the tail, above and never beneath, the lender and not the borrower. Some of these principles, I would literally pray God, I thank you for, my ability to retain information, to be an incredible orator, to be someone that not only helps other people, but is able to see your vision and be able to hear your voice and detect the devil. These are things that I pray every single day to help me become more decisive, to help me be able to be even better in business. Because I think oftentimes business is being able to discern information that's being given to you and then to be able to apply it, right? So these are the things. So my ability to speak and my ability to speak those things that be not as though they were, I think that speaks to my success as well, because constantly, even when I don't have it, I'm speaking those things into existence, saying, hey, I'm going to achieve it. I'm going to be a multimillionaire. I'm going to, have a real estate portfolio and trend. I'm going to be an affordable housing developer. I plan on finding ways to donate to organizations. I will, these are things that hopefully someone is able to see that this is coming out of a place of inspiration, and that I'm encouraging you to take take heed to this and apply it in your way, right? So whether that's the things that you may care about, whether you might want to have a family, or you might want to own a business, or you might want to, I don't know, uh, own a home or something that you desire, your heart's desire. Speak it every single day to be able to see it come to fruition. And even when it doesn't look like it's, attainable at that point in time, that belief, that faith, eventually starts to shine through, and it starts to change and alter your reality.
Awesome. Awesome work. Awesome work. Well, I want to thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule. One more note I want to mention is that you're graduating
This
from
this
Cornell coming up in Ithaca,
Saturday.
New York.
Yep, this Saturday. This Saturday
Saturday.
I graduate, and we're gonna have some family up there, coming up to upstate New York, and I think it's going to be an experience and a half. I think my parents are going to be able to see, the fruits of their labor, in a sense, right? The work that they put in, the doors that they opened up for me, the motivation and the prayers that they set forth. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Should be really good. I think first one is going to be at 10 o'clock, and the next one will be at 1 o'clock on Saturday this upcoming week. And then my plan is, after graduation, I'm moving back to Trenton, New Jersey. I will live in Trenton, and then I'll work in the city and commute into the city throughout the week. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to JP Morgan Corporate Real Estate Strategy, full-time job. Now, your job at JP Morgan, that was your internship. What's your job going to be when your full-time position?
Yeah, good question. That's a great question. I think they're still going to kind of give me guidance on what that is. I know I'm going to be doing strategy and partnerships. What that encompasses at the moment, I don't know. It may change. But it could range, right? But I'm looking forward to the opportunity to be able to, one, learn from an institution that is well established. Like when you mention the name, people know, that company from a global standpoint. They are the market leaders when it comes to understanding, whether it be, you know, corporate real estate, whether it be corporate banking, whether it be, financing some of the biggest hedge funds, biggest countries in the world. JP Morgan, and actually, the financier for a lot of these organizations, insurance companies. Um, Even funny thing is, even in affordable housing, when I was working at the state agency, pretty much I would say 80% of my deals also had tax credits being facilitated and funded by a JP Morgan or a bank like a Wells Fargo and those bigger banks. So I've been able to see the different sides of it. So we'll see. We'll see where it takes me. But I'm definitely looking forward to this next chapter in life.
Excellent, excellent, man. I'm looking forward to the next opportunity we will have to have you on the radio to talk about and share your experiences at JP Morgan as you start your career there, graduate again this Saturday from Cornell University with an MBA. And you're going to travel back down once you graduate to the city of Trenton. You're coming back down to live in Trenton, and then to commute up to New York to JP Morgan as you start your corporate career, or continue your corporate career, because you're interning there. So you're going to continue your corporate career with JP Morgan. And then as you continue that career, continue to give back and reach out to others. And we'd love to have you share some of this knowledge with our high schools in the area, specifically at Trenton Central High School. Come back
Would love that.
and speak to the students and give them an inspiration, show them how you made your way through and met your goals and were able to meet your and exceed your goals and opportunities, and how they too can have that same opportunity. It just takes determination and grit and work to get there. And I think that that will go a long way to inspire them and encourage them to continue to work hard and believe in themselves and to continue to do great work, so they too can look up one day and say, you know what, I learned a lot from Albert C. Matlock the third, and I'm so happy he came to Trenton High or Lawrence High or whatever, whether it be Ewing, Hamilton, Mercer County area.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it's just a testimony to the work that you've been
Oh,
doing.
I appreciate it. I would be honored to do that. I would love to do that. So let's make that happen for sure.
Definitely. A lot of different organizations here in the capital city that are doing great work that you can connect with, and then of course connect with Trenton Board of Ed. I'm serving as vice president, and we'd love to have you come and share with the kids. I'll talk to our superintendent, Mr. James Earl, who I'm sure would love you to come and just share your knowledge and experience with our kids and our students, and motivate them and encourage them to continue in their pursuit of their goals and objectives and their plans for their future.
Sounds good. I'm all in. I'm all in.
So there's one last thing I want, just if you could speak on this just a bit. The company that you started, Common Purpose Development Group, co-founded an affordable housing development and consulting firm dedicated to establishing strategic partnerships with local developers and fostering connections with state agencies. CPDG specialize in delivering tailored, community-centric, affordable, and workforce housing solutions.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to talk about two, right? So I want to also talk about a business that I invested in when I was doing a 609 project called 1,000 Grams. Is a plant-based soap company. So this amazing entrepreneur called named Dennis Robinson. Dennis Robinson Smith. He was working in the Trenton area. He was participating in the mobile market fair that I put together, and he had an amazing product. And that experience, you meet people. I connected with him. We share common interests for entrepreneurship, and I ended up basically co-founding this business with him. We co-own it, actually. He founded it, we co-own it. So I invested in the business, and then we both have grown that. So if you get a chance to look at this, when you get a chance, it's called 1,000 Grams. So www.1000grams.shop. And if you look that up, we have some amazing products that are plant-based, natural, for all types of skin types. That has been incredible. Like you see this beautiful baby skin. I got that. So let me stop. I'm just joking.
No, I'm a witness too, man. I got. Matter of fact, I need some more. We need some more. We got.
It's a great product. So I'm working on the side to scale that business up as well.
Nice.
So that's something that I care about a lot. And then in addition to that, like I said, I worked at the state agency. I've gotten to see all type of product types in terms of developments that are funded by the state agency through subsidies, also as well as low-income housing tax credits, which is a very unique space within the affordable housing space, which are also often backed by taxes and bonds as well. Some of the construction loans and the mortgages around these products are all funded through the private banks as well as the state agency, which is the one that I worked with. So me and my partner, his name is Taylor Cook. He is now running a state agency in Ohio. He's one of the directors there, and he helps both the 4% and 9% low-income housing tax credits be facilitated throughout the state of Ohio. Me and him both worked at New York State for about 3-4 years together, and we built a really good rapport and relationship. And we all had the desire to kind of be entrepreneurial. Like he was entrepreneur, I'm entrepreneur. And we said we should find a way to help service the community, individuals that might be minority developers or developers that don't have experience. They might be market rate developers, but don't have experience in affordable housing, which is extremely technical, extremely nuanced. So how do we help them and provide a service to help them navigate the terrain to eventually do their first affordable housing deal? And then our plan is, after we serve and help people, we can build up enough capital, enough, liquidity to be able to be our own developers and to be our own developers throughout the tri-state area. So to go back into New York City and do deals, affordable housing deals in New York City, New Jersey, Philadelphia, all in these areas. So that was I guess the genesis for the business, and it's called Common Purpose Development Group. So finding a common purpose between the community, the state agencies, and the developer to create a project, to create a development that not only services and provides, I will say housing, which is, a necessity, like we all need housing, but provides us, whether that be communities or whether that be businesses in that area as well. Barbershops, local businesses will be able to also contribute spaces to those businesses that adds value to the broader community and not just housing, right? Because I strongly believe that you can't just build homes, right? You can't just build housing and not have amenities. The community is based on the amenities, being able to go to the cleaners, being able to go to your local coffee shop, being able to go to a grocery store, all within a walking distance, within a bus ride. That is really what creates a broader and a stronger community, right? These amenities that add value to people that are living in the buildings. So they don't have to go 20 miles out to Princeton or 20 miles out to Hamilton or 5 miles or 6 miles out to Hamilton to be able to keep the dollar recirculating within the local community.
Amen. Amen, man. I tell you, whoo, that's a lot. That's a lot of work, and you've done it. And I'm so proud of you, and so proud of the fact that you have the right mindset to give. And I mean, the sky. I don't even say the sky. You have no limits in terms of where you can go, what you can do, because you have the right foundation, strong foundation, drive. You're engaging with folks, and really look forward to continuing our conversation on WIMG 1300 AM, a music for the soul, 5-time Stellar Award-winning gospel station. Thank you so much, Albert C. Matlock III. Amen. Getting ready to enjoy a fruitful career at J.P. Morgan in New York City after many, many years in school internships, doing great work in the community. I mean, you name it, Albert has done great work, and he's giving back. And we look forward to seeing you continue your stellar career at J.P. Morgan, and then also with your business that you've launched, and other business that you've launched, but Common Purpose Development Group, seeing that grow and develop, and doing some work here in the city of Trenton and around the Mercer County tri-state area. So look, great work for you, and looking forward to good things coming your way.
Thank you. It's been an honor, and I appreciate you thinking of me in this light and open up your platform to me. So I'm grateful, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You've been listening to True Heart Makes Media with Lions Youth Ambassador Joel True Heart II on 1300 AM WIMG, Trenton Talks Radio broadcast, sponsored weekly at 7 p.m. on Tuesdays on your radio dial 1300 AM, also on the internet as well. So you have no excuse. Tune in every single day and listen to 1300 AM WIMG. You can catch this broadcast also on Facebook on Thursdays at 7 p.m. on my professional profile page. We thank God for you, and thank you for listening to all of you. Thank you for listening, and continue to have a blessed evening. God bless you.